I found Islam while I was in prison. This is the story of Brother Ali. It is from gang to God, a very interesting story to ponder about, really. Let's deep dive into the story today. Gangs to the fold of Islam. Hey everyone, this is Cleophie again, your host at the Cleophie podcast. Let's listen to the deep dive on this journey. Please like and subscribe to this channel, as I know you all like it and want to tune in every day. That's the reason that we try to bring a deep dive on a daily basis. Hey Jack and Wilson, now it is all yours.
Welcome, deep divers. Today, we're exploring a truly remarkable story of personal transformation. It's about how one man's life took this incredibly unexpected turn, really sparked by relentless questioning and just a deep search for truth. Our subject is a man known to many as Brother Ali, or maybe by his online name, Maliki Clique. You might actually know him as a truck driver. He's built this massive TikTok following. We're talking like over 370,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's all dedicated to dawah. That's the act of inviting people to Islam. His core message seems to be about bringing Muslims back to Islam, really emphasizing Allah's boundless mercy. It's quite a powerful narrative of conviction, redemption, and connection.
Absolutely. And our mission really for this deep dive is to get into Brother Ali's own reflections on his life. We'll trace his past from an evangelical Christian upbringing back in Southern California through a period where he was kind of wandering aimlessly to a really pivotal conversion to Islam. And that happened in a maximum security prison of all places.
Right.
Crucially, we'll explore the significant ripple effects this transformation had, on his personal relationships, his family, and also the powerful outreach work he does today. We'll try to extract those key moments, those profound insights that offer a unique perspective on faith, personal conviction, and honestly, the incredible power of human connection, even when it blossoms in isolation.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Hashtag a childhood of faith, then doubt. So Ali's story kicks off in Southern California, born and raised evangelical Christian. But there was this early separation from his parents. He was only 1 year old. His parents divorced young, and he mostly lived with his mother. And can you just imagine being like 7 years old and suddenly being confronted with this really intense religious experience? That's what happened to Ali. He was visiting his father, who had apparently given his life to Christ, and they went to church. Even before they went inside, Ali could hear screaming, yelling, music, crying. He said he was so scared, he actually ran out of the...
I apologize for interrupting the deep dive. Are you or someone you know struggling to land a job? Check out the ATS Resume Optimizer. I created this tool myself, and for just $5 a month, you get unlimited tailored resumes, mock interview prep, and a resume health score to boost your chances. Transform your job search today. Link in the description. Let's get back to the deep dive.
So scared, he actually ran out of the church. Yeah. His dad chased him, tried to explain it, but little Ali just couldn't get his head around it. He always believed in God, he says, but that particular way of worshiping, it just didn't resonate. Not at all.
That early experience definitely set a tone. But it wasn't until he was about 14 that Ali's questioning really started to deepen. He was reading the Bible himself, and he stumbled upon what seemed like a striking contradiction.
Okay.
He found a verse, Exodus 33:20, I believe, stating, "No man can see God and live after that." Pretty clear.
Yeah, seems straightforward.
But then, almost immediately following it, he read the story of Jacob in Genesis 32, seeing God, actually wrestling him, holding on, and even saying, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And Jacob lives. So this is where his, let's say, theological digging really began.
And that questioning, it really came to a head at 14, didn't it? There was that specific incident with his pastor that kind of cemented his doubts. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, exactly. So young Ali, trying to make sense of it, he goes to his pastor. He asks him to reconcile these two verses. How could Jacob see God, wrestle him, and live if the Bible also says no man can see God and live?
Right, a fair question.
A very fair question. And the pastor's response was just, I didn't even know that that was in the Bible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For Ali, you can imagine that was clearly a shock. It just planted these deep seeds of doubt about the faith he was raised in. I mean, coming from the person who's supposed to be teaching in the scripture.
That must have been huge. So he still had this belief in God, but maybe without the structure of a specific faith. What kind of impact did that have on him then?
Well, the outcome was pretty significant. This experience led Ali to sort of drift away from Christianity. He kept his belief in one God, absolutely, but he describes this period as monotheism without direction, or, as he put it, lacking a moral compass. And this phase, I think, it really shows how, a foundational belief in God, if it's disconnected from a clear ethical framework, can leave someone feeling vulnerable, maybe open to other influences, and definitely with a sense of internal emptiness. Hashtag the road to Walla Walla.
So after that moment with the pastor, Ali moved away from his father's house, went back to live with his mom. He described that time as having virtually no religion, do whatever you want, just no structure, no real guiding principles. And it's kind of hard to imagine being 19 and feeling so empty, so devoid of structure that you'd make such a drastic choice. But Ali, even though he had a job, he had money, he took part in an armed robbery.
Right.
He actually explained he did it purely for excitement because in his words, there was nothing in me, just kind of floating, aimless, maybe without a real grasp on consequences.
Yeah, and those consequences came fast.
Yeah.
And hard. Within 24 hours, he was arrested, suddenly looking at 8 to 10 years in maximum security.
And he had no record before this.
No prior arrests at all, never spent a day in jail. Apparently, he wasn't even the one holding the gun. He just drove the getaway car and transported the stolen items, which really highlights how impulsive that decision was, likely driven by that internal void he talked about.
And he ends up in Walla Walla, which he called the Gladiator School, described it as the worst maximum security prison in the state of Washington. Just 19 years old, scared, lost, completely clueless about prison culture. How did he even start to navigate that?
Well, his initial survival strategy was pretty pragmatic, maybe even bleak. He identified himself as full white.
Okay.
This let him align with the White Aryan Brotherhood, which was a powerful presence in the prison. They basically gave him protection. They even made an announcement walking him to his cell, like, he's with us, there's a new white guy. Yeah. He carried on like that for months. During that time, he also briefly looked into other religions. Judaism, even Hinduism, though he said he dismissed Hinduism pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It really shows someone desperately searching for, well, anything belonging, structure, a way to make sense of this incredibly harsh new reality. Hashtag an unexpected approach and a blue Koran.
So weeks, maybe months into his sentence, Ali starts noticing this particular inmate, a white guy. He described him with a long mustache, but he always sat with the black inmates. And he was always looking at Ali. Understandably, Ali's thinking, okay, this guy's got a problem with me. He's expecting trouble, right? Prison yard dynamic.
Absolutely. Standard procedure, unfortunately.
And sure enough, one day, Ali's walking the yard track. This same person stands up from the tables, along with about 5 African-American men behind him. They walk straight towards Ali. Ali braces himself, squares up, ready for a fight. What happened next totally threw him off, right?
Completely. The man, whose name turned out to be Omar, stopped maybe 10 yards away. And instead of aggression, he just said, whoa, 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 no. Assalamu alaikum.
Which means?
Peace be upon you. And Omar immediately apologized. He recognized, their approach must have looked intimidating, especially with these, as Ali described them, muscle-bound guys behind him. Omar just said he wanted to talk.
Wow. That greeting alone must have just completely disarmed Ali.
Instantly. It signaled something totally different from the usual prison tension he was expecting.
So Ali learns Omar is from Turkey. And Ali, at this point, had absolutely no idea what Islam even was. He actually asked Omar how to say it in English.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So Omar starts performing dawah, basically inviting him to learn about Islam. They talked for weeks. And eventually, Omar gifted Ali a Quran, a blue one, with gold writing.
And he gave it to him very carefully, didn't he?
Right. Wrapped in a towel. Omar was really stern about keeping it clean, showing it respect, never putting it on the ground, emphasized its sacredness.
Ali's initial reaction, though, when he got the Quran, it was still tinged with that earlier skepticism, that apprehension. He immediately went to the index.
Looking for familiar names.
Exactly. Moses, Jesus, Abraham. He was basically afraid it would be just like the Bible, full of contradictions he couldn't reconcile.
But that's not what happened.
Not at all. He opened it, seemingly at random, to Surah Al-Rahman, chapter 55. And he was just captivated. He said the language, the delivery, the whole style of the Quran was so unique, so amazing to him. He just sat there reading for hours, completely forgot about dinner.
Really?
Yeah, his cellmate actually had to remind him to go eat. He was just, as he put it, really into this book. It's fascinating how that direct experience with the text could just instantly shatter his preconceived notions, forcing him to reevaluate everything. Hashtag tag the transformative Juma prayer.
So a few weeks or maybe months after getting the Quran, Omar invites Ali to Juma. That's the congregational Friday prayer. But to go, Ali had to get official permission from the commanding officer, the CEO. He had to submit a formal request slip.
Right. And that led to this really ugly confrontation.
Yeah, tell us about that.
The CEO's reaction was just blatantly prejudiced. He holds up Ali's request slip and basically asks, "You want to go to Juma with the blacks?" Then he used racial slurs, the N-word, and explicitly told Ali that if he chose to worship with these N-words, the guards wouldn't protect him, basically leaving him vulnerable.
That's shocking. How did Ali respond?
Despite the threat, Ali's curiosity, maybe his growing conviction, was stronger. He just responded, "Yeah, regardless, I want to go." It really highlights his growing defiance of that kind of prejudice. Driven by this deeper search he was on, fear wasn't going to stop him at that point.
So Ali's first Juma, he actually attended as a Christian, right? He was observing, not participating yet as a Muslim. What was that experience like for him?
It was profound in several ways. First, he heard the adhan, the call to prayer. He was deeply moved by it. Turned to Omar and asked, "What is this beautiful song that this man is singing?"
And Omar explained.
Yeah, Omar explained it wasn't a song, but the call for Muslims to come and pray. Then Omar taught him how to perform wudu, the ritual washing before prayer. Ali said it felt incredibly organic, natural, and he wondered why Christians didn't do something similar before worshiping.
Interesting. What else stood out?
Then, during the prayer itself, he learned that the imam leading the prayer had memorized the entire Quran. This book, as thick as the one Omar gave him.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. And Omar told him millions of Muslims worldwide, even young children, do this. Ali was just astonished. He thought, okay, these people are truly different. There's something serious going on here.
But the absolute turning point, the real crystallizing moment came during sujud, right? The prostration in prayer. Ali, wanting to see everything, went right up to the front row to observe. What did he see that hit him so hard?
He saw these men he knew from the yard. Muscle-bound men, huge men, as he described them. Men who projected toughness. And he saw them humble themselves completely before their creator. All that hardness just melted away. Their eyes were lowered, total humility. And when they put their faces on the ground, Ali had this epiphany.
What was it?
He thought, these people are not normal. And I have never in my life seen worship of God until now, today. Seeing that raw humility, that submission, it transcended everything else, the prison setting, the tough exteriors. It showed him what he felt was true worship for the first time.
And that realization led to an immediate decision.
Instantly. Right after the prayer finished, he turned to Omar and said, "I have to become a Muslim today." He was emphatic. "I will not leave here except if you teach me how to be a Muslim." He even confessed he didn't know if there were other white Muslims, but it didn't matter.
How did Omar react?
Omar just put his head down and wept. He said, "Subhanallah," which means, "Glory be to Allah. Of course you can become a Muslim." And so right there, on that specific Friday, the day of Jumu'ah prayer, back in 1991, Ali officially took his Shahada, the declaration of faith, and became a Muslim.
Wow. And how did he describe feeling in that moment after taking his Shahada?
He said it felt surreal, like he was really with God for the first time, truly in God's presence, part of something authentic and real. He felt like he was born for this, that this was his purpose, a profound sense of belonging and rightness, hashtag the price of conviction and finding a new family.
But becoming Muslim in prison, especially coming from his background, it came with immediate and pretty harsh consequences, didn't it? He called his father from prison to share the news.
Yeah, and his father, who Ali described as super Christian, super strict, did not react well at all. He essentially gave Ali an ultimatum. He referred to Allah offensively as the moon god and told Ali he had to abandon Islam or he would lose his inheritance, which was apparently a six-figure sum.
A six-figure inheritance? How did Ali respond to that?
Ali's response was just unwavering. He told his father, essentially, there's something more important than a six-figure inheritance. When it comes to matters of salvation, you can keep your money. He said, give it to my brothers, my sister, charity, I don't care.
Do we know how much it was?
The amount he mentioned was $600,000. This was back in the early 90s, so that was a very significant amount of money.
Absolutely. And his father.
His father followed through. He went to his lawyer, had Ali removed from the will, disowned him. It just underscores that fundamental point, doesn't it? For genuine conviction, sometimes these immense sacrifices, even financial ones, they aren't just possible. They feel necessary to the person.
And that decision had long-term ripple effects on his family life, too.
Oh, yeah. His father, his brothers, his sister, they disowned him for 15 years. Can you imagine? 15 years of estrangement. Only his mother remained supportive throughout. He actually lived with her for a bit right after he got out of prison.
So after getting released, Ali eventually went to a real masjid, a proper mosque for the first time. And there he shared his story pretty openly, including the painful family stuff, the lost inheritance.
And what happened next was quite remarkable. An unexpected blessing, really. Two Saudi brothers, their names were Khalid and Abdulrahman, they happened to overhear his story in the masjid.
And they just approached him?
Immediately. They came up to him, offered him a room in their home, said they'd cover all his expenses, and they promised to teach him Islam properly for a whole year. They told him, "You're our guest. You won't even need to touch your wallet."
That's incredibly generous.
Isn't it? And then came this incredible discovery, like a year later. After Khalid and Abdurrahman had returned to Saudi Arabia, Ali found out from someone else
What?
that these two brothers were actually descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, from the Ahlul Bayt, the household of the Prophet.
No way.
Yes. So Ali had been living as a guest of the Prophet's family for a year, learning from them without even realizing it. He just considered it this amazing gift from Allah, this profound kindness from people he barely knew. Hashtag questioning and spreading the message.
So now, coming from this unique perspective, an ex-Christian, now a devout Muslim, Ali continued to engage critically with religious texts. He kept identifying things he saw as, well, contradictions or problems within Christianity. For example, he points to the Christian Aqidah, the core creed.
Right, the idea that one must confess Jesus died for your sins to be forgiven.
Exactly. And Ali finds this problematic because, as he points out, the vast majority of prophets in the Abrahamic faith lived before Jesus. So how could they possibly have known or confessed this specific belief to attain salvation? It's a logical point he raises.
He also shared some interesting observations from an antique Bible he acquired, one dating from around 1825 to 1836. He noted, just as an aside, that the first page had a map of Palestine, not Israel, which he found noteworthy.
Interesting historical detail.
But more significantly, theologically speaking, he discovered that one of his, quote, favorite verses, Matthew 7:21-23, was actually missing from this particular old Bible. Yeah. Just not there.
Matthew 7:21-23. Remind us what that says and why it's significant for Ali.
Sure. For Ali, these verses are incredibly profound. They depict Jesus speaking about the day of judgment. Jesus says essentially, "Many will say to me on that day, 'Lord, Lord, didn't we pray in your name? Didn't we work miracles in your name? Didn't we cast out demons in your name?'"
Okay, and Jesus' response.
Jesus responds, "Get away from me, you evildoers, you lawless people, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you." Ali highlights that Jesus seems to be disowning these people because they did everything in his name, not in God's name. Ali contrasts this with Jesus' consistent emphasis elsewhere on God being one, like Mark 12:29. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." He argues Jesus never said, "I am God, worship me." So for Ali, this passage from Matthew, often interpreted in Christian theology about genuine faith versus mere performance, became a really stark point of departure, challenging his understanding of Jesus' role and the nature of proper worship.
That's a really powerful interpretation he draws from it, and it raises fundamental questions.
It absolutely does. And here's where it gets really interesting for you, the listener. Ali isn't just pointing out differences between faiths. He's raising these fundamental questions about the nature of God, the nature of worship, that kind of resonate across different belief systems. It encourages us, really, to look deeply at the source texts ourselves, whatever our background.
Good point. So shifting gears to what he's doing today, Ali is now channeling this journey, this conviction, into his TikTok channel, Malay Clique, his main focus, bringing Muslims back to Islam, especially those who feel they've strayed too far, maybe feel ashamed or unworthy.
Yeah, he really stresses Allah's mercy. His message is basically, it's okay, come back. Even if you're not praying regularly, even if you're not living the lifestyle you think you should be living, the door is always open.
And his impact seems pretty incredible.
It really is. He shared this one powerful anecdote. He knows of at least 6 people he personally brought to Islam directly through his TikTok interactions.
Wow.
And one of these individuals, a man named Rob, this is intense.
Yeah.
Rob had actually planned to commit suicide the very night he stumbled upon Ali's live stream.
Oh my goodness.
Finding Ali's message, talking with him, it pulled him back. Rob subsequently converted to Islam. But then in this amazing ripple effect, Rob himself went on to bring 125 more people to Islam in just 6 months.
125 people.
In 6 months. It just vividly illustrates the profound impact that sincere personal outreach can have, especially when you combine it with the reach of platforms like TikTok. One person's message can echo out in ways you can't even imagine. Hashtag a deeply personal faith.
We also got a small window into Ali's inner spiritual life, his most deeply held prayers. He was asked if he were given one prayer that was guaranteed to be accepted, what would he pray for?
And his answer.
He said he would pray daily, consistently, for the Palestinian people, for the Uyghur people, for every Muslim that is oppressed all over the world, asking Allah for their relief, for their victory over their oppressors. That's where his heart is.
That's very telling. And his personal faith, his conviction, it seems also deeply rooted in some profound spiritual experiences he's had. He mentioned dreaming of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, twice.
Really? What were the dreams like?
In the first dream, he described seeing the footprint of Father Abraham in a significant place, and then Prophet Muhammad himself appeared to him. In the second dream, he said the Prophet actually took his hand and introduced him to the four rightly guided caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, telling him, they all love you.
Wow, those are incredibly powerful dreams.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how these deeply personal spiritual experiences seem to reinforce his conviction. They connect him directly to this larger, enduring spiritual heritage he embraced. It anchors his faith on a very personal level. Hashtag tied outro Otterby.
So we've journeyed through this truly extraordinary life, haven't we? From a young child literally scared out of a church service to a conflicted teenager questioning everything. Then an imprisoned young man searching desperately for meaning, and finally emerging as a devout Muslim. Someone who lost a significant inheritance but found this profound sense of purpose and really a global family.
It really is an incredible story, and Ali's journey, I think, serves as this powerful testament to that universal human search for truth. It speaks volumes about the courage it takes to question your deepest held beliefs, and the willingness sometimes to make immense sacrifices for what you truly believe in your heart. It really challenges all of us, doesn't it, to look beyond superficial appearances, beyond our own prejudices, when we try to understand others and connect.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? This deep dive into Brother Ali's journey, it isn't just about his specific conversion story. It really taps into that universal human quest for meaning, for belonging. His story is a potent reminder that profound transformation can often emerge from the most unexpected, even the most difficult places. And that true conviction, it often comes with a significant cost, but perhaps also with immeasurable rewards. Which leads us to our final thought for you to ponder. Considering Brother Ali's unwavering conviction, his willingness to walk away from a fortune and endure years of family estrangement, what personal inheritance in your own life, maybe it's financial, maybe it's relational, maybe it's social status, what would you be unwilling to sacrifice for a belief you truly, deeply held in your heart?
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.